Welcome back, everybody. It is the Sunday pregame show. I'm here with Maddie. We're going to go over some games. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and mine was perfect except for somebody's team could not cover the fucking point spread. Maddie can talk about that quick while I figure out what's wrong with my camera.
Yeah, you got some serious, it looks like you've got wild humidity on your camera. But yeah, basically what's happened with the Cowboys there was they started to leave the game open. They played too passive offense at the end. They were already miles out ahead. They were easily covering the spread, and it fucking killed me in fantasy as well, Jay. So I was annoyed by it. But there's no point in letting teams back in the game just to play that passive football. It's one of the things that irritates me the most about the NFL. It seems to be like, oh yeah, it's the done thing that you move away from a defensive scheme that is working so well for you. You move away from that to play passive football so that you don't lose the game too quickly. And it's like, yeah, but the fuckers aren't scoring any points anyway. So why don't we just continue playing the same game? But yeah, in that Cowboys game, we dominated in the second half. It's a team that the Giants are a team that had so many injuries that it doesn't really count too much, but the win's a win, decent performance after the second half, and we got it done, and we move on, and we're only 2 games behind the Eagles now. We're second in the division outright.
Yeah, I just thought with 8 starters out, that was going to be a different game than it was. For a minute there, I thought the Giants had your number, and I was like, oh, something's going on here. But they came back in the second half, put it away. But, of course,
we've been doing that a lot.
Spread.
We've been doing that a lot, this slow starts where, no, there's definitely not one in the UK. There's also extremely not one in Thailand. I was telling the kids about Thanksgiving, and they were like, what the fuck is Thanksgiving? But, we don't celebrate in the UK either. But
if you just tell them in Thailand, it's the day you bring food to your family in their prisons.
Yeah, but the Cowboys played a good game after they come back out in the second half. But we start slow. We seem to plan the totally wrong game plan all week and then fix it in halftime. So it's just wild.
So I did watch half of the show while you were on it live, and then I watched the other half later on. And you only said one thing I really have to disagree with on that whole show.
All right.
Hold on. They just eating fish and chips.
I don't even like fish and chips that much. I think it might be the worst way to cook those 2 ingredients.
Let's not forget that Suge went 5-1. He wants that to be known.
So I went in my Thanksgiving picks, including the spread, I got every single one right. I knew the Cowboys wouldn't cover a 10-point spread.
It was an 8-point spread, and I thought I watched you say this morning they'd cover the spread, but I'd have to go back and look.
What? No. It was a 9.5-point spread.
That was Detroit.
Was it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe not.
But anyway, I went 2-1 because of your Cowboys. But the one thing I have to really disagree with is you said that there's no such thing as being emotionally beat up going into the next game, and that you don't buy it.
Yeah.
Game 6 in NBA or Major League Baseball, big win, get blown out in Game 7. Miracle on ice, almost lost to Finland after beating the best team ever. It happens in the NFL every year that teams get a big win and then don't have the emotion to get up. And it's been proven for 100 years in the NFL. So I have to argue with you on that you said that getting up for a team after a big win isn't a thing.
Yeah, I don't know whether I don't think it's an entirely a thing that makes like the biggest difference in terms of like going from getting the big win to getting blown out like the next week. I think with the Vikings, what ended up happening was you guys got an injury in key positions. I think was more important than
I don't know. We played the second best defense in the NFL on Thursday and put up 33 points.
Yeah, you played the first best, and
we didn't play San Francisco. San Francisco's rated number 1. You guys were at 6 going into the
league. Stats. Best by the stats. Yeah. I just have a hard time believing that.
I don't know how you say it when it's been proven for over 100 years in every sport.
I just don't know how. I just don't know how a professional team can fucking like be so up and then so down. I do like. I get how it.
You've never done anything in life that's just emotionally drained you.
I'm just not that good at anything for it to make that much of a difference. Like if I'm shit anyway, it doesn't matter. Like the margins of my emotions don't play into
the Bills almost lost to Detroit because of the last 3 weeks they've had.
Yeah, or they nearly lost to Detroit because Detroit are like a half decent football team.
Okay, I actually feel bad for Detroit.
Yeah.
They're gonna seriously, I feel bad for Detroit. They're gonna win just enough games to not get a good pick, and they're gonna win just enough games to keep Dan Campbell, which means they're gonna be the epitome of 7-win team for the next 5 years.
Yeah. Actually, over time, talking about, do you know what? I have done something that's emotionally draining.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I take back everything I said. I have done something that's emotionally draining that has affected my work on this podcast. And that's when we did that fantasy football draft show. And I had to listen to the Canadian and
Hitman. I thought that was the best part of the show.
They were just going at it like the entire time. And I was just like, man, this is... it was easily the best part of the show. But I was so fucking drained.
They do that shit daily in our group chat. It's epic. And they don't even text each other anymore. They send each other voice messages.
Terrifying.
All right. So I'm glad Detroit didn't win that game.
Yeah.
Just because everybody keep losing. Let us lock up the division real quick in Minnesota, and then we can worry about the rest. But I will say there was a couple times where I could tell Josh Allen's injury was bothering him on a couple of his throws. I think Romo even pointed it out. I don't always have the TV on the volume, but I do sometimes. I think he was saying that he could see the ball nose diving because of the injury.
Yeah, if there's somebody who knows what it's like to play for injury and how it affects your performance, then it's Tony Romo as well, right? But yeah, you can see that the power in his arm wasn't quite there on the night. And the fact that he still looked half decent whilst that is going on, I mean, that's testament to Josh Allen being an absolute, tough motherfucker. And he's pretty impressive. And that Detroit defensive line is actually, pretty decent. So we'll have been after him and, got a couple of hits on him and things like that. It's an impressive, stand in the pocket kind of game for Josh Allen. I think that might be their game where they get back right. I also just thought that point spread was completely disrespectful to Detroit's season of we lose Detroit lose games, but they play well. They play good football.
All right. So past Thanksgiving, because we picked the right teams. I got to go back and see what you said. I might be wrong. You might have picked all three.
I'm sure I said the Cowboys wouldn't beat the Giants by... It was 9.5, and I'm convinced I said the Cowboys wouldn't beat the Giants by 9.5.
Well, I got the things up. Unless yours is different, it still says 8.5 here, but I might be wrong. So
I was I'm fucking half asleep most of the time right now. So yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, let's start hitting these games for today, and let's start at the Ravens at Jacksonville, with the Ravens favored by 3.5 points on an away game. I'm taking the Ravens. I don't give a fuck if they're minus by 4 or if they're down by 4. I'm taking the Ravens. So, and bang, bang, Niner gang. That's probably the team that's going to knock Maddie's team out in the first round of the playoffs. So
we all know it's going to happen. Why don't we just fast forward to that? Why don't we just fast forward to that point now? Because they're a terrible matchup for us. I totally agree.
I was just being a dick, but you were going to just run with it. So
Yeah, no. I agree. Let's just fast forward to that point of the season right now. Like the rest of it's arbitrary.
But I'm going to take
But
the Ravens minus the 3.5 because I think the Ravens beat the Jags by at least 7.
yeah, I don't think this is a particularly good matchup for the Jags either. Like the Jags haven't been playing badly, but with the way that the Ravens defense plays and the way that they're an incredibly experienced defense that they've got on that side of the ball, they find it easy to disguise coverages, disguise blitzes, like everything like that. They find it incredibly easy to move from that, and that could be the undoing of Trevor Lawrence. So, yeah, I'm gonna take Baltimore in this one and just run it on them. But I mean, the Jags do have a pathway to winning that one if Travis Etienne gets going. Like you can see it happening.
And I do want to say, everybody calm down on Trevor Lawrence. They're all like, well, it's his
Yeah,
second year. He should be doing better. It's his first year with a real head coach because double finger guns isn't their coaching anymore. Urban Meyer is not fit for the NFL. Like, I'm not trying to shit on Urban Meyer. Awesome for the college game. Maybe the greatest college coach ever. He was not equipped for the pro game, and he wasn't equipped because he did not put in the time. When you get into a meeting and somebody says something about Aaron Donald and you say, who is Aaron Donald? You have no business being a coach in the
yeah,
NFL.
yeah. I think as well that Trevor Lawrence has improved this year.
I agree.
Like he, oh my god, he's not. It turns out the draft evaluation was wrong. He's not fucking Peyton Manning. Obviously not. Nobody is Peyton Manning. Like you've actually said it. And Andrew Luck also wasn't Peyton Manning. Like we give Andrew Luck this whole thing, and I think he was a great quarterback. I think he got in a shitty.
He
He
wasn't as
got in a
great
shitty
as they gave him.
situation.
Right. He
Yeah.
wasn't as great as they gave him credit for. He was, don't get me wrong, amazing quarterback, but he wasn't that Hall of Famer that they booked him to be right off the bat.
Yeah, and in that like different situation where he's not getting the shit kicked out of him every game, then maybe he's still playing and playing lights out football as well. But like he's playing like Trevor Lawrence is playing better. He has stepped up. Just the games where he steps up are actually in games like this when nobody's fucking watching. Like nobody's gonna pay attention to this 1 o'clock game. Like really. So yeah, I
Only
totally
me because of my fantasy team in Lamar, but I'm with you.
yeah,
Like, nobody gives a shit.
exactly.
Yeah.
And like this is the game where Trevor Lawrence will play well. The other games where he's played well was in the London game, which nobody could get access to because of the way ESPN put the firewall up. So literally nobody watched that game. And things like that. He played really well in that game. So he plays well there, and people he doesn't get the credit for it because they don't notice. However, Baltimore are going to make him possibly look a bit fucking stupid with the way that their
All right.
defense runs.
Well, if anybody ever has that problem, let's say you're bored and on your internet and you just type in the word stream, the number 2, the word watch, and that .ws, you probably can get all the games. I'm not sure. Just saying.
I'll get a VPN and change to a UK server, and it's
yeah,
on
that works too.
The UK on the BBC, so you could just do that. Or on Channel 4, sorry, which is
I'm just
free.
saying, if you want some UFCs too, maybe if you type in those words I was saying, I don't know for a fact, but yeah, I don't think there's like, I think the path to victory for the Jags in this one would have to be a Baltimore collapse.
Yeah. Which is not out of the realms of possibility. The Baltimore Ravens started off the season giving up multiple 14-point leads. So,
and wait till Calvin Ridley joins that team next year, though. I really got high hopes for that Jags team. I'm a fan of Peterson as a coach. Now that he's away from the Eagles, because when he was with the Eagles, fuck him. But now that he's away, I can be realistic. And he's a good coach. He's great for that team. They got a lot of weapons. Travis Etienne is a fucking monster.
Yeah,
a monster. And so, I mean, the Jags, I'm with Shug. It's to their only way up is, or their only way they're going is up. Jags to the moon moving forward. It's just not going to be this year.
Yeah, I mean, the only way they're going is to London. Eventually, it's coming.
I don't know. This will have to be a different show for us. I'm not sure the NFL's less than 5 years away from even talking about having a team over there.
Yeah, you look at the Jags stadium, man, and it's just empty. like we'd fill it.
Yeah, it's not that. It's all the other stuff that comes with it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah.
They'd have to work that out logistically.
Well, and then there's a game that nobody's going to watch, and it's the Broncos Panthers. The Panthers are the dog at home by 1.5. Broncos favored by 1.5. I'm telling you right now, I'll take the Panthers in the money line because I think they're going to beat the Denver Broncos anyway.
Even with Sam Darnold at quarterback.
I do. It's only because I think that team is playing better than their talent because of everything they went through. And I think those players are like, it was Matt Rule, not us.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of have to agree with them. And their defense is seriously talented. Like they have a talented defense. And what's Russell Wilson? What's the difference in Russell Wilson this year? He shits himself against the rush. Well, that defensive line is pretty strong. Like it does get QB pressures. So yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I'm gonna take the Panthers in this one, and I'm interested to see how Sam Darnold is after a year of just not seeing him play.
I hope the kid plays well, but even coming out of college, I wasn't sold on him. And he's in a losing situation, so I feel bad for him. You know what I mean? I hope he doesn't go the way of Josh Rosen. That's just really what I hope doesn't happen to him.
Yeah, I mean, he could like he could give the team some juice. He could do this. He could do that. Like there is talent. There is talent there. Like it's evident on the throws that he makes that there's talent there. It's the intangibles with Sam Darnold a little bit.
Depending how much money he wants, if they cut him this year, I'm always good for a good backup quarterback. And
exactly.
I think him being coached by a guy like Kevin O'Connell would be great for him to be a backup quarterback.
Yeah, yeah. Put that up. I was going to say that, like, he's already done more in the league than Josh Rosen.
Like, I know. I meant go the way of, like, you get set aside and never get thought of again. You never, what I mean? And they can say he had a shot with the Jets, but I don't feel like the guy ever had a true shot because he hasn't played with any talent.
Yeah, I agree with you. DJ Moore might be his most talented receiver that he's ever had. Yeah. And, but that's behind that Panthers offensive line. Have you seen the under over on that? So the under is 36.5. That's the lowest in the league this year. And I can't see it getting to 36.5. I'd still take the under if you made me bet on that.
Yeah, me too.
No,
me too.
Watched that game.
Yeah, me too. All right, so this is a game
nobody watched that fucking game.
This is a game nobody gives a shit about, but I'm excited to check out. I want to watch the Falcons versus the Commanders. The Commanders are favored by 3.5 at home, which means on a neutral field, they're only favored by 0.5 point. I actually have the Falcons winning this game, so that's why I'm real interested in watching this game.
Yeah, no Kyle Pitts in this game.
No, but Cordell Patterson is their offense, man. And Cordell Patterson just proves that Mike Zimmer mishandled him his whole time in Minnesota, and Chicago mishandled him in Chicago too.
Yeah, definitely. Also, like that Kyle Pitts point, they're not using him anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, Cordell Patterson is their offense. I think that the Commanders might be one of the hottest hands in terms of football on their defensive side of the ball, like one of the quickest turnarounds.
There's a chance Chase Young plays for the first time this year today too.
Yeah, and it just I don't see him having a big impact on the game after having such a long time out. But
with that line, just any extra monster on that line is kind of my point. But I agree with you. Yeah,
and the way that they've turned that around, because we started off this season like, why are the Commanders' defense so disappointing? Is this like what's going on? Like, why is that happening? To now they're on a tear where they're possibly, like, obviously, like the Cowboys, the 49ers, like those defenses are like, they're the best defenses in the NFL, but the Commanders are probably riding the hottest hand in terms of their talent at the moment. And the Falcons have got this habit of playing like the most entertaining fucking games and losing. So I'm going to say the Commanders in this one because Taylor Heineke does my head in the second half of games, but only because he's a commander. He's my type of quarterback.
He's another guy I enjoy watching. I don't know what'll ever happen to his career, but I enjoy watching him.
I love the comps to Tony Romo. Like people, like Tony Romo reads offenses way better than he ever does, but the actual playing style that they have is like very, very, very similar. And the road to the NFL, like quite similar too.
Which makes sense because both of them said that their favorite player growing up was Brett Favre.
Yeah, and it's that kind of shit, isn't it? Where it's just like, let's just go.
minus the welfare fraud.
Minus the welfare fraud.
So this next game, I think people are going to think I'm fucking crazy, but we're going to talk some Buccaneers Browns. Last game before Deshaun Watson comes back.
Yep.
Okay, I think the Buccaneers win this game. And the spread is only 3.5, but I'm taking Cleveland in the points because that's how close of a game I think this game is going to be.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I think by the Bucs win.
How many times have the Browns disappointed you this year?
Huh?
Yeah. How many times have the Browns disappointed you this year?
A couple times at the beginning, only because I got off. I got off real quick when. Once Baker, that whole Baker thing happened, I kind of jumped off the bandwagon. Amari Cooper's fucked me a couple times this year, but we won't get into
that. So I put the Buccaneers in the top 10 of my power rankings like last week. I think they're hit. That's just largely because of division, largely because of their road to at least the NFC Championship game will be quite nice. The Bucs have turned this around. I think the Bucs have they've gotten a semblance of a running game going. Their defense is back and healthy. Tom Brady kind of just the way he just kind of came in and went, do you know what? You guys aren't trying. This is unfucking acceptable. You need to sort this out. That's kind of turned a corner for them, and I think they may go for a stretch now. I think they will be the Browns quite comfortably. Personally, I think that the Browns are going to find it difficult to run against a healthy Bucs defensive line.
Hey, because I never paid attention to what we said, L World or Shook, let me know what the pause was in the comment. I'm not sure how bad we sounded, and I always like a good pause. For me, I think Tampa wins, but people overlook how good that fucking Browns defense is. And they always forget that they have one of the best running games in football. And Amari Cooper right now is in the top 5 in almost every category of receivers. Well,
which is like the most fucking painful shit ever.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I said. Yeah. Okay. I did say that.
That's a good one.
It was good.
That's a good one.
Yeah. That definitely deserved a pause and a super pause. But I didn't even realize I said that. See, that shit flies out of my mouth, and people will be like, pause in the comments. I'll be like, what did I just say? Like, what the?
I didn't even fucking notice that. Like, I was just like, that's such a normal sentence. Like, we must have said shit like that like a million times, like since we've been doing this show. So, but
That's why it's a 3-point game at the end of the day. So maybe I'm wrong, but that's my thought process on it.
Yeah, I just think the Bucs will be able to hold down that run game, and I do worry about their offensive line against that Browns defense. However, I think the Bucs cover the spread on this one.
All right. Well, before we move on to our next game, we're going to have a quick word from our boy Freezus at Overtime Hustling.
What's good? It's your homie, Freezers Christ. Y'all know the deal. Make sure y'all head on over to overtimehustling.com where you can catch all the latest merch, all the newest mags, all the media, everything, know what I mean? And you can also find me on Winging It with the homies Keith G, King Dale, and Payne Gusto. And you can catch me on Turf Tales with the homie SK. And if you got nothing to do on Sundays, even if you do got something to do, make sure you tap in the Overtime Reactions hosted by the homie Cuzzo. And I cannot forget the homie Jay over there at the Yankee and the Brit channel. So make sure y'all go over there and check them out. And hey, check me out, your boy Freezes, on that Real Talk with Jay. It was a hell of an interview, yo. Gotta do it again. I keep saying it because I mean it. We gotta do it again. I had a great motherfucking time. But anyway, you know who it is. Freezes H, OTH, Yankee and the Brit, Winging It, Turf Tales, Overtime Reactions, Chronicles Podcast. You know the drill. Cush's Corner. It's a motherfucking movement. So move with it or move out the motherfucking way. Simple and plain.
Overtime hustling, we hustling overtime.
Hey, make sure you all go over, cop the newest magazine. I'm in this bitch this week. This magazine, Payne Gusto, Free Smoke, Lil Diesel, Kush Kennedy, Mooch, ton of them, and they got some dope new merch. So make sure you go check that all out at overtimehustling.com. Maddie, this next game, Bengals Titans. Sorry, Bengals at the Titans. Bengals are actually favored at the Titans by 1 point, which actually blows me away because Jamar Chase isn't playing again.
Yeah.
And the Titans have been playing some pretty good run the ball, play defense, good football. I got the Titans winning this game at home. So again, fuck the point spread. I'm taking the point line or the points.
I'm not
I'm taking the money line.
Yeah, like I feel like I disrespect the Titans more than anybody like in the entire NFL right now. But I find this one quite disrespectful, to be honest. Like they're not made the favorites because they're at home. Like Nashville is a bit of a like fortress for them. And on top of that, I think it goes back to the playoff game. I think the fact that the Bengals beat them in the playoff game means that's why they're favorites now, and it doesn't work. If Jamar Chase was playing after having maybe 2 games, to get back off that hip injury, I could see why they would be favored. But even with Jamar Chase there, coming off this hip injury, which will probably be niggly for the next probably till the end of the season, but especially for the next few weeks, I still wouldn't take them as favorites in this game. I feel like that run has the ability to negate the explosive plays that the Bengals do. However, the Bengals don't need that much time on the field to score big points. Like the way that their offense is set up, they don't need the Titans will win the Titans can win the time of possession and still lose this game just because of the way that the Bengals rack up the points. However, I feel like the Titans, Derrick Henry's unbelievable. I heard a stat, is it something like over 60% of Derrick Henry's yards are after contact, or it's even more than that, like 75% of his yards are after contact or something like that. Like, it's insane.
But everybody keeps acting like the Bengals had good games without Jamar Chase. They had one. You take T. Higgins out of the game and they have nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. That he was set for a big one this year. Honestly, this has really fucked me in fantasy this week. I'm not happy. Yeah. God, I think. Do you know what, Jay? I think me and you might take fantasy football a little bit too seriously. I'm worried. Like, it genuinely affects my week.
See, it does. As long as the Vikings win, I could give a fuck what happens in fantasy. See, I don't know. But I'm not gonna lie. If I lose this week, I'll be pissed because I'm playing the fucking Canadian who sucks balls this year, and if I have to lose to him and hear it for the next year, that'll be painful.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that Jamar Chase is injured, now Justin Fields is injured, and Breece Hall got injured at the start of the season, that's like 60 projected points a week, like taken off the board for me, like in injuries. It's just not a good feeling. But yeah, back to the game in hand. I feel like the Titans win this game. I feel like they just run the ball down their throats. Derrick Henry's playing like a monster, and Treylon Burks kind of came out last week, which was interesting to see. The Titans don't need a lot from their wide receiver. Like, they don't need their wide receiver to be absolutely unbelievable. They need just enough of a deep threat to kind of be able to do that play action and those kind of plays. So I feel like they're set up to win this game. And the Bengals offensive line is either really decent or absolutely shit. And the Titans are playing really good defense at the moment as well. Like pretty stellar defense. And also their red zone stats are unbelievable. Like they're just ridiculous. The Titans, when they get to the red zone, they're coming back with touchdowns, not just field goals.
Well, we got the Texans at the Dolphins with a 14-point spread.
What?
So I obviously think the Dolphins are going to win this game, but I live by the rule of gambling on a double-digit spread. You always take the underdog. I'm riding with the Texans plus 14, with the Dolphins still winning this game by less than 14.
Yeah, so the Dolphins are a 14-point spread, and the over-under is 46.5. So it's like, it's not that they don't think that, it's either they think that the Dolphins are going to put up about 46 points, or that the Texans are going to score like a decent amount of points, and the Dolphins are still going to beat them by 14. Like that's like a pretty fucking wild, spread to me. The Dolphins have aspects of their game where they're unbelievable. Like their offense, a wide receiver seems to be open all the time. We've spoken about it with Tua, and Tua's reading it as well. Means as soon as that guy is open, Tua is hitting that so fucking quickly that there's no time for the guy to not be open anymore. But obviously you can't catch up with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle when they're open anyway. But I feel like the way that the Texans play, they've lost games, but they've kept them close. I'd be interested to see the Texans' point differential on a 1-win season. I would be quite interested to see that. I love the way that Dameon Pierce plays. Yeah, the Dolphins are going to win this game comfortably, but I can't in good conscience take the 14 points. However, do you know what? Because you've said they're going to be within the 14 points, I'm going to say that the Dolphins will beat the Texans by 14 points, just to be different.
Well, you got to win by.
I feel like
you got to win by 15, or it's a push.
15, yeah, cool. I'm taking.
Well, you're taking the 14, but for it to not be a push, you got it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking it.
All
or
right.
some like weird half point that comes in,
Well, another game that really has me scratching my head is the Bears at the Jets. That 7.5 point spread seems a lot to me for two teams who are starting backup quarterbacks. And I actually think the Bears will function better with a regular quarterback under center. So I still think the Bears will lose. Some reason think this is going to be a tighter game than 7.5. So give me the Bears and the points.
Yeah, this over under. Bet the under on this game as well. By the way, like the under is 36.5. There's no way either of these teams are getting up to 36.5 with their two backup quarterbacks. But 7.5 seems like a lot. I'm going to take the Jets to win, the Bears to be within 7.5 points. Even with Justin Fields, I feel like this is a horrible matchup for the Bears, to be honest. Like the way that the Jets, to be honest, I'm kind of happy that Fields is injured this week and they're sitting him this week because like I don't have to then answer to next week while Justin Fields had such a shitty game, because I had this earmarked for Justin Fields to have a shitty game this week just because of the way that the Jets defense is built.
That's because the guy hasn't had a better than average game in his career, but okay. This game, though, has something I got to talk about the quarterbacks. Both quarterbacks put their fucking foot in their mouth. So before he separates his shoulder, Justin Fields says, my legs are tired. Bro, you're 24. And even if it's true, you don't fucking say it. And what are you going to look like when you're 28? I got less faith in Justin Fields now if his body's already giving out at him at the age of 24, when you're the one that asked them to run you more. And then on the flip side, we got fucking Zach Wilson, who's got all the talent in the world, but doesn't seem to have zero leadership quality. Because when you're asked if you feel like you failed your defense when only putting up 3 points and you say no, and the way you fucking said no like it was a fact, Like, bro, you need to go apologize to your defense for only putting up 3 points in a game against the Patriots.
For next week, I think me and you should both go back through and make a dossier for Zach Wilson and Justin Fields and say where Zach Wilson has shown that talent, because I don't think I've seen it. I saw it in college. I agreed with you coming out of college, but in the NFL, I don't think he's shown it. To be honest, I don't think he's shown it enough to have that.
Every game that guy
quality.
throws at least one laser on a rope into the breadbasket. Like, I'm saying, he shows the talent with zero leadership qualities. Like, he shows it.
Yeah,
he shows it more than Justin Fields. Cut off Justin Fields' legs, and you got a high school quarterback.
I reckon I can go into every single game Justin Fields has played this season and find at least one laser.
That's not a wide open receiver.
Let's do it. Let's
right,
do it.
This week. Clip up highlights. I'll go clip up the Justin Field highlights.
The Zach Wilson. Let's do it.
I guarantee you, Zach Wilson has way more better throws and reads than Justin Fields.
Yes. Right. Okay. Okay. I'm just interested. I'm just interested in the Zach Wilson love over the Justin Fields hate more, because I don't know if it's hate, but one's a quarterback, one's a running back, and they're both hate position. Hate is I didn't mean hate as in you didn't like the kid, but like I mean, okay, no, never mind.
Look, I really don't hate any of these kids coming out, and I hope they do well. I just try to call it like I see it, but I have not seen Justin Fields in a game look like a quarterback in 2 years. I honestly think that Justin Fields' arm is better than you give it credit for. And you think it's better than Zach Wilson's?
No, and you know that I'm not saying that.
No, I was asking. I was clarifying. There is times where I will put words in your mouth. This time I was asking. Yes. Okay.
Right. No. I don't believe
and
that.
I think they're both going to wash out of the NFL.
Yeah, I with Justin Fields' injury now, I think that with Justin Fields' injury now, I do believe that this could be. Like, I feel like Justin Fields has 3 more years in the NFL. Like, maybe I feel like Zach Wilson may have.
Do you think maybe the Bears themselves, they'll move on from him next year?
No, I don't think they'll move on from him next year. As much as I hope they do.
Okay, I don't mean move on. I mean, I should rephrase that. Draft his replacement.
Oh, draft someone.
His replacement.
Possibly.
Okay.
I feel like if you draft somebody any higher than if you draft somebody in the first round as a quarterback, you're replacing Justin Fields within a year. So, like, I feel that way just because Justin Fields isn't good enough to have a replacement.
I would feel better if Justin Fields was with Mike or was with Kyle Shanahan.
If Justin Fields was in the 49ers offense, this would be a totally different story.
And we have a different conversation. I've said it from the beginning. Yeah. I think the Bears ruined any chance this kid has. And I know it sounds like it's just me completely shitting on Fields 100%, but I think 50% of this blame goes on the 2 coaching staffs he's had around him.
Because I know you, I know this isn't an issue, but also I feel like the Ohio State bias doesn't help you in not looking like you want to kill Justin Fields.
You'll never hear me say this ever again as a Badger fan, but go Big Blue. Whipping Ohio State's ass yesterday. Okay.
I love that center.
Huh?
I love the Michigan center. So I watched the highlights of that game just because, like, I'm gonna start trying to get into my college football. But I think that I really want the Michigan center in Dallas next year. That's who I want our first round pick to be.
Michigan's winning a national championship, and I'm not even a Michigan fan, so people get mad at me, whatever they want. After watching them take it to Ohio State, Michigan's winning the Natty.
Yeah, it was an impressive game. It was an impressive win. I feel like Zach Wilson might. I feel like Zach Wilson's an interesting one because I feel like he might have been too young when he came out, like too immature. Like BYU, you're pretty looked after. Like it's a trend now that the
You can't even drink
BYU like
caffeine at BYU. Like they
yeah
really are on you. Yeah.
yeah, it's like a trend on like TikTok and Instagram to go to the BYU and ask them like what the craziest thing they've done is. So like, what's your go-to drink on a BYU party? And like one of them said milk, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's because it's a Mormon school, man, and you have
Yeah, I
to
know.
agree to a lot of shit that I could not follow to play there.
Mhm.
No caffeine, no nicotine, no sex before marriage, no. Like you lost me with the caffeine and sex before marriage at that age, let alone everything else that goes along with
Yeah,
being at
yeah.
BYU.
Yeah, so then Zach Wilson is like how old is he? Like a 22-year-old kid. Like yeah. A 22-year-old kid, good looking like kid, like celebrity standard of kid, right? Who comes out and goes and moves to New York and isn't just a New York player, he's a New York Jet where you're like royalty in New York. Like he's I feel like, and then just the lack of awareness to how badly
Yeah.
he's been playing for the past 2 months is just like
His,
unbelievable.
his lack of personal awareness is what scares me about him.
Yeah. I would like to see him given another opportunity as a Jet. Like the guy's like 5-1 this year.
Oh, don't
5-2.
worry, he'll be back in the game next week.
Yeah, the issue is, so if they don't put him back, so if Mike White plays well, they're then not going to throw Zach Wilson in against Minnesota.
I think they're punishing
So
Zach Wilson. So
I hope so.
if I'm right, then he'll be back. If not,
The
if they're
second half.
really looking past him, then you're right. Everything that happens today has a big outcome on what happens next week. I just feel like this is a punishment and trying to get him to grow up. But I'm not. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I would be quite interested to see if Zach Wilson does leave the Jets, where he ends up. Like, I feel like he could be a pretty impressive guy in a lot of teams. So I would like to see him in like Carolina next year, or like somewhere like that, where like maybe the eye isn't on you as much as if you're a New York Jet. I'd be quite interested to see that, and he could actually fucking grow up. Like, I feel kind of sorry for him, to be honest.
I don't think he got benched for his bad play, which he could have. Like, it's absolutely justified. I think he got benched for his comments at the fucking podium.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's what he got benched for. But, yeah. To only score 3 points in a game is unbelievable.
All right. Well, we spent a lot of time on a game that nobody's going to watch because they're quarterbacks. But Las Vegas at Seattle. Vegas are 4-point dogs. I don't know, man. This is one of those games where one week I like the Seahawks. The next week I watch them. I'm like, okay, they're the Seahawks. The Raiders have so much fucking talent that they are not living up to. It's fucking boggling my mind. And I'm going to regret this, but I'm taking the fucking Raiders plus the 4 in this game, because I'm not 100% convinced that they'll win this game, but I am thinking it will be close.
Yeah, I think that might be another one. Like, I feel like the Raiders are your team where, like them and the Browns, I feel like you've gone for a lot of times and they've disappointed you. But maybe the Browns, I'm just thinking.
The Browns, when I pick them, they usually win this year because I haven't been. Last year, they stabbed me in the heart a bunch of times, the Browns.
They stabbed us both in the heart last year.
I just don't understand how you have as much talent as this Raiders team and you can't string together more fucking wings than you have.
Yeah, I'm taking Pete Carroll.
Comment that's going to say Derek Carr will be piling in here any minute now.
Yeah. I'm taking Pete Carroll off a bye to hype up the Seattle Seahawks and get the win over the Raiders.
All right, well, let's burn through these last couple games here so we can get to Shug's picks at some point. But Chargers at the Cardinals. Chargers are favored at the Cardinals by 2.5. I think the Chargers win this by 10. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are built to play this kind of game. Like, basically, if you have no run game, then the Chargers are pretty happy playing against you, because they're built to beat Kansas City. That's what the Chargers are built to do. So the fact that the Cardinals rely on their pass game so much, that really plays into the Chargers' hands. I've got the Chargers winning this one at a trot.
I hate to say this because I like the guy, but the Chargers really need to think about moving on to a new coach because they have way too much talent to be doing what they're doing too.
Yeah.
I like Staley, I do, but I just
Yeah.
you're not getting the best out of your team.
It might not even be Staley's fault. Like, that's the thing. It might just be a weird fit, which is like not good. You know, I would like to see him get given another opportunity somewhere else.
All right, so we're going to go on to a game. I think this is the highest point spread of the week.
Yeah.
Rams, Chiefs, 15.5. Chiefs are favored by 15.5. Chiefs will win this game by less than 7.
Yeah.
And so I'm taking the Rams and the points with the Chiefs winning.
Yeah, the people know that the Rams are Super Bowl champions. Like what? I know they're not playing like it, but this has to be the big. I think Florio said that this has to be the biggest point spread that a Super Bowl champion is.
Hey, they're starting the fastest quarterback in the NFL today, so if they get him out and let him use his leg. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, well, that they said it looked like they were going to anyway. I checked that even while we were on the air, so you don't start a guy who's on the
as soon as Shug goes on, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to make sure that my fantasy team's in good order. But yeah, I feel like Sean McVay might enjoy his new toy today, like, and just see what happens.
And everybody on that team said he's better than what was the backup? Wilford, is that his name? Wilmot, whatever the fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the Rams defense is actually okay as well. Like I don't get, like, the defense is all right, like not 15.5 point spreads. That's wild to me.
All right. Well, Saints at the Niners, 8.5 point spread. I don't even have a doubt that the Niners are going to win this game. I hate these 8.5 point spreads because they're that weird, like, no man's land. But I'm going to take the Niners minus the points in this one.
I'm going to take the Niners to win, but the Saints to be within 8.5 points.
Yeah, I almost did that.
Yeah, I feel like the Saints are kind of built to, like, counteract the Niners in terms of time of possession and things like that. So, yeah, I feel like they'll stay within, but the Niners will get it done and win that game.
All right. Sunday night football, Packers at the Eagles. The point spread is 6.5. Eagles are favored, and the Packers are going to shock the world and beat the Eagles tonight. So I'm taking the Packers straight up money line.
Okay.
Christian Watson is proving why they were drafted finally. He's got the most touchdowns by any rookie in the NFL right now. That I told people that offense was starting to click in the end of that Bills game, and it's just because I think the Eagles think they're going to walk the Packers, and I think it's one of those trap games, and I think the Packers upset them at home.
I would totally agree with you if the Packers didn't have the best cornerbacks in the NFL and that Aaron Rodgers doesn't like to throw into any risk whatsoever and throw in will Aaron Rodgers give up his stat line in order to fit the ball into Christian Watson where there's a shit ton of risk against the best cornerbacks in the NFL? And I think that's wide against him. And I think the Eagles are going to win this game. And I actually think the Eagles are going to cover the spread in this game.
And I'm hoping tomorrow we're all yelling, "Cry, Eagles, cry."
Yeah, man, like, I would do anything for the Packers to win this game. I never want the Packers to win, but, like, I just don't see it.
Hey, sadly, we're both chasing the Eagles right now for different reasons.
Yeah. Yours is you're trying to get, like,
the bye. Right. And you're trying to win the division and get the home game.
Yeah, if we win the division, though, are we not kind of in the running for the bye as well? Like, we're only 1.5 behind you as well, or 2.
Well, yeah, and then you got the tiebreaker if it goes in.
Yeah,
but
so 1.5.
But I picked at the beginning of the year. Everybody thought I was crazy. The Vikings to go 12-5.
Mm-hmm.
I have them right now finishing the year at 14-3. But we'll see how that ends out. All right.
I might actually map out that kind of shit this week as well.
It's because of our schedule, and I could go through our last 6 games. I really think that, but on to the Monday night game, which nobody but me is excited. Nobody but me is excited for.
Yeah.
But I really do believe that people really need to get behind that. All right. I'm picking the Colts to win this game. and I don't care about the 2.5. Colts win it. Pittsburgh's garbage. Let's go Colts. Jeff Saturday.
Um.
All right, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take the. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I'm gonna take the Colts to win this game. I see the building blocks of some good stuff for the Steelers. I really like George Pickens. I kind of like couldn't really get behind Kenny Pickett. Like I really quite enjoy Kenny Pickett football. Pat Freiermuth, I don't understand why they don't use him more. He's actually might be one of the most underrated receiving tight ends in the league, in my opinion. But yeah, the Colts are going to win this game. They're really riding a hot hand, and the more this continues, the bigger my apology has to go for Jeff Saturday for being so fucking dismissive at the start of his reign.
All right, well, let's bring in Mr. OTH himself, Shug. Thanks for being here, Shug.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, we got Shug's picks, so let me throw them up on the screen for everybody. And wow, Shug got the Cardinals winning that game.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's going to be an upset, huh, Shug?
Yeah, I think so. I think D-Hop will probably have like maybe 2 scores.
That's the key, isn't it? The monster D-Hop.
I always fucking forget about D-Hop being on the Cardinals for some reason. That I like somebody mentioned D-Hop for the Cardinals on one of the podcasts I was listening to, and I was like, oh yeah, shit. Like they have D-Hop. I still don't think it makes too much of a difference this week. However, he can just go off, can't he?
Yeah, I think that, and it depends what Chargers show up. You know, if they put up points, sometimes the Chargers just show up in 3 9-point type games. So I think it depends on which Chargers show up and how D-Hop affects the game.
Well, Maddie, he's got your favorite team, the Commanders, beating the Falcons also. So what made you feel that way on that one, Shug? I can see this game going either way. That's why I'm really interested in what you were thinking.
Yeah, it was kind of a toss-up. I'm just kind of going off of the current momentum the Commanders have right now. They've been playing a lot better as of late. They beat the Eagles. So I think just them riding that momentum and the Falcons, I think they lost last week. So them coming off of a loss and kind of being up and down all year. Commanders get the edge.
Maddie, I forgot. Did you take the Bears against the Jets or did you take the Jets?
I took the Jets because
Okay.
I feel like Mike White is more in the game than just.
So Shug and I are on the Bears. You're on the Jets.
Yeah.
So with 2 backup quarterbacks, Shug, what made you lean towards the Bears?
So originally I thought Justin Fields was playing when I
That's
made
fair.
it. I knew the Jets were starting the backup, but I think I'm gonna stick with the Bears just because I took them, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets just kind of come out and run the ball all day.
I think both teams are going to have to try to run the ball all day. So whoever's offensive line probably wins this game. But I'll look like a genius or an idiot. But like I said, I think the Bears function better with a drop back passer behind them because of the offense they have. So Titans, Bengals, you and I rode with the Titans. What made you lean towards the Titans in this game?
I don't know. I just like the Titans, and Jamar Chase is out, so
It had a lot to do with mine too.
Yeah. That's where I am on that one as well. Like, and this is I think this could be one of the first games where I've taken the Titans, like in a game where it can be close. So like I took them to beat the Packers because they play football that is awful for the Packers to have. But in other games where it's close, I always lean against the Titans. But in this one, I feel like they've shown enough on both sides of the ball that they can slow it down and they can run on anyone. And I feel like that they can really pull this out of the bag.
So we all think Tampa's going to win, but I took the Browns with the point. So what makes you go towards Tampa's way? And I know Payne Gusto is loving you for it.
I just, they've been playing pretty well lately too. And really the only thing the Browns have to me is Nick Chubb. So, You know, I think the Tampa defense is able to shut him down. Tom Brady has a pretty good game, and maybe Fournette has a good game for the Bucks.
Hey, I just thought of this. Anybody think that Brissett comes out and balls his ass off because of the fact that this is his last game?
Do you know what? I think it could go the other way. I think the Browns have a vested interest in Brissett looking like shit this week. Like
They need that win though for the playoffs. They need that win to stay in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like if the game gets away from them, like it is with it, like they just run Chubb like until the legs fall off. They make sure that Kobe Brissett isn't the reason that they win, and if they're losing, just call the worst fucking plays for Brissett like ever. Like make sure he's getting sacked 10 times, throws 3 interceptions. Like I'm just saying that's in their vested Machiavellian interest, not in terms of.
I'm just saying, as a guy
who
watched Stefanski coach for 17 years, I'm not sure he's that type of guy. But
100% no. But like, this is where the brutality of running an NFL organization should be in. Like the Packers should not be playing Aaron Rodgers right now. Like same deal. It's in their vested interest to be shit.
The Packers have sold out games for the last 40 years. I think that's another reason why they're not sitting Rodgers. No, seriously, they haven't had a game that wasn't sold out in 40 years.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like the Packers sell those games out anyway. They have one of the loyalist fan bases in the NFL.
Not when they had Lindy Infante as a coach, and you're too young to remember when they sucked balls. Like they sucked for a lot of years until Favre got there.
Yeah.
Well, now, Maddie, did you take? We both think the Chiefs will win, but I can't remember. Did you take the Rams in the points like I did, or did you take the Chiefs to win by 15 and a half?
No, I took the Rams to be within the points there. Like, I don't think the Chiefs are going to win by 15 and a half. The Rams defense is too good.
Shug's going to make us all look stupid when this happens.
It's a ballsy pick. I kind of like it.
The Chiefs?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the Chiefs, you know.
It is. It's hard to bet against them. Like, and it's easy for me to say right now on the show because I'm literally not putting money on it. That's one of those games where, like, I'm like, that 15 and a half makes me really want to take the Rams, but that's Patrick Mahomes. That's Kelsey. That's Andy Reid. I really think that me and Maddie could both be wrong on this one, and you be right by the time it's over.
Yeah. Also, the Rams are playing a backup quarterback who, like, I feel like we just think that Sean McVay might just have like some ridiculous game plan drew up, which might come off and work.
And I don't even know
just for this week.
True, but I feel like if you have a quarterback who Next Gen Stats says is the second fastest player in the NFL behind Tyreek Hill, that you just run the shit out of that guy because he's your third string anyway. Just run the shit out of that guy and see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm expecting 40 fantasy points from Brees Perkins. I'm expecting it.
Well, before we get out of here, Shug, the new edition of the magazine is dope as fuck. There's some really good interviews. And you got some new merch out on the website already, or is that still coming?
No, we got new merch out. We dropped it for Black Friday. And then today we dropped the new Stoner Simpson with Kush Kennedy. So that's available for free on the website.
That's our boy Kush Kennedy right there. You can go read all about it. Yeah, man, that interview with Little Diesel was great. The interview with Free Smoke was great. Mooch, we got our boy Cuzzo from the Chronicles podcast, so make sure you go check that out. And I'm not going to lie, that Payne Gusto interview is the most Payne Gusto interview ever. Mm-hmm. The way he answers those questions is the exact way he would talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the artwork in that magazine is so fucking sick as well, man.
Like, look at how Shug laid all that out. Ain't that dope as fuck?
Yeah, man. I'm excited. Is it online as well? Can you read it online for our people who watch in the UK?
Yeah, if you go to the website, overtimehustling.com, you can get a free digital download of it. So you can read the whole magazine online, save it to your iPhone or your tablet or, your MacBook, whatever. But yeah, the whole magazine's available online. All 30 issues are available online for free. So you can check them all out. Overtimehustling.com.
I always think it's awesome. Should you figure out a way to put the people who are close to you in the magazine too? So I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great how you like lift everybody up with the magazine and help others be noticed. And like, I know that even my father-in-law, who has probably never listened to a hip hop song in his life, enjoyed reading the magazine.
Oh, that's dope. Appreciate that.
Yeah, he's a workout warrior, so I feel like my father-in-law just walks around listening to Eye of the Tiger all day. This dude is 65 with an 8-pack. He must walk around just Eye of the Tiger all day.
Yeah, he's got to be on something.
Right. Well, all right, guys, we probably should get out of here. Kickoff's coming, and I just watched all of the views die on the screen.
I know. I just watched that like instantly. It's as soon as we hit 1 o'clock. It's like you fucking like, guys. The important shit's on.
Yeah,
everybody.
I just these guys. So well,
I just put the. Oh. Sorry, I just put the link to the magazine in the comments for people to go use as well. So make sure you go check that out.
Well, thanks again, Suge. It was great. Can't wait to see your picks next week. And I saw your parlay, so I think you got a good chance of winning, but I'm definitely riding with you.
I appreciate it. I'll see y'all next week.
Is that how you get? So is this how you get the print money for the magazine? Like the hit for your bets?
It away. No, this dude's all the time. Hustling.
Yeah, that's separate money.
Yeah, no. When they say overtime hustling, if you watch what this dude does, they are really hustling overtime, like out there grinding, trying to make it work. They're inspiring to me, and I tell them that every time I feel like saying fuck this and throw my laptop out the window, I watch what somebody over there is doing, and I just get inspired and refocused. All right, guys. Well, we already got a penalty on the fucking Jets game, and we're 30 seconds in. So,
hang on, the Cowboys aren't playing the Jets.
Thanks for watching. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.